All right. Welcome to Conversations with My Little Bro, the podcast where I have conversations with my little bro.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be talking about creativity. Creativity. You know, this is a subject that you like.
Yeah.
And why is that?
Well, because that's what I want to be.
A creative.
Creative. Not much for the not creative stuff, business and stuff like that. Although you guess you can be creative in business and places like that, but it's not like, I mean like a creative field like art, music, writing, that interests me.
Okay.
Films.
I guess like the way that we can define like the conversation is kind of like, at least for me, and what I want to kind of talk about is where creativity comes from. And I know this might be very difficult to answer because it's very different for various people. But just to give my background on creativity, I don't think that me personally that I'm a very creative person. Yeah. I think we've always talked about this, that I am never the one that comes up with anything unique or original. I'm usually the person, or like, I guess I'm not a creative person in that aspect that I can come up with something new and original. I'm the kind of person that takes something that already exists and applies a twist to it. I'm more like, I guess my creativity goes into like switching what already exists and making it better or making it work for me. And I'm guessing that there's some aspects of creativity on that, but coming up with something new, or writing stories or anything like that, it's something that I know I can't, or maybe I could, but like it doesn't come as natural to me as it would to other people.
Okay.
I know. What about you? What is your experience about you being creative?
Well, it's creativity for me is kind of weird because it's like I get ideas sometimes I get ideas out of nowhere. Like I want to do something, I'll be like, oh, that would be cool. And a lot of the times I have so many things that I want to do that it's kind of hard for me to be able to put it down, which is why writing is good for me. Because writing is like, if I have an idea, I can just like sit down and write it down. Right away.
So, but like, how does your idea come into form? Like, where does it come from, or where?
It depends. So for writing, it usually comes from like personal life. I'll be thinking about something that happened in my life, and I'll be like, I want to write a message about that, and I'll make like a story around it. So I'll give you an example. Like in high school, I was with my friends, and we used to be in theater, but not like the theater kids. We used to be like the ones that did their stuff in the background.
Okay.
Of the set and stuff like that. And I'm like, I was thinking like, oh, that's a very isolated space where like it was only us and it was only the group of us. And I'm like, I was trying to write a play. And I thought like, oh, that's a great place to write a play because not only is it behind a literal play, but it's a really small area. So you can have a small cast of characters. It's a high school base. And I just started writing about it because I'm like, this could work. And I'm writing about my friends and I'm writing about my life and about things that I actually know. So it's just, and that's how I came up with that. And that was literally the first thing I ever wrote that was like finished.
Okay.
So,
I mean, obviously you take inspiration from elsewhere, but then you come up with like your own story and stuff.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, there's this whole saying that like, you should write what you know. Like Ricky Gervais used to say that like he used to write these crazy stories about like, oh, a police officer that like goes and fights crime and the crime is super like and it's super wow, and every time he turned in his paper the teacher would like give him a C or like a D and say like, and the teacher would always tell him like, you need to write what you know because like what you're writing is like it's meh. And he was like, all right, I'll show that teacher. I'll show her. I'll write what I know. I'm gonna write about my grandma, about how she used to serve me this cereal, and about how I'm gonna describe this cereal with like such intense detail, and I'm gonna bore the hell out of the teacher. So it's just like where it's like every Wednesday my grandma would play, and it's super detailed. And he turned it in like, yeah, take that. I wrote what I know. And like when the teacher gave back the paper to him, he just hands it over, and Ricky Gervais picks it up. It's like A+. He looks at the teacher, and the teacher's like gives him the like nod of like you got it. And from there on, Ricky Gervais is like, all right, that was like an eye-opening moment. He needs to write what he knows.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I feel about writing. It's like I have to write what I know.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. But what if what you know is boring to yourself?
Well, I don't know. I don't find my stuff boring, even if it is like that. You can take it in creative ways. You know, I took every year of high school that I did, and I had like very specific moments from high school that I remember. And I took those little events and I made them, and I wrote about them in like a very different way. And I guess I would have to like show you, because it's kind of how I haven't shown you my book, but I took like a more fantasy aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
So like everything that happened to the core was still what happened, but it was written in a way that was engaging. And it was like in a different world and with a different setting and completely different characters who had different goals. But the core of the story was still what happened, was still something that happened to me in real life.
Okay.
So it's kind of like what you said, like just take what you already know and just like give it a twist.
Mm-hmm.
And being creative really is more about how well your twist works.
Yeah, I guess I have a couple of issues in like I always try to translate it into what I do on a day-to-day basis. So like for me, my day-to-day is I walk my dog, I go to the gym, I go to work, I cook, and then I go to sleep, right? Obviously, in that day-to-day, I want to add investments,
Right.
and I also want to add like the podcast. So now we do the podcasts. Oh, I'm sorry. So we do the podcasts, and then I also want to add me working on Dungeons and Dragons a little bit every day, so I can
Dungeons and
always
Dragons
have something.
It's a creative
Yeah, but
feel.
none of the Dungeons and Dragons things that we played.
Right.
I'm always taking it out of other Dungeons and Dragons stories, and then I just reorganize it how I think it would be better, right? How I would be comfortable for me to run those stories.
Right.
And then I have an idea of like a main storyline that like I get from different stories that I've read from Dungeons and Dragons, and I know where I want to take the story or like what will happen. And I know little stories here and there that can get me to that point. But they're not my original content. Like I didn't come up with the main storyline or anything.
Right.
I came up with little aspects that I tweak here and there to...
So like an example?
What?
So like an example, like which of the... Like if you could give a quick...
It's difficult because the whole story, let's say... All of the ones that we've been doing.
How about the one we did with our other brother? Did you take that one completely?
The one that that we did last time when he came over?
Yeah, and it was a dream. That one?
Yeah. So I took that based. So that wasn't my idea. The idea was eventually there's a curse in a town, and I knew. And then at the end there were the two sisters.
Yeah.
That were the ones causing the curse.
Yeah.
Well, the only idea that I came up with was like I don't want it to be the monster that was in the original story. I wanted it to be the two sisters. Right? That was my own idea. Also like I came up with that actually before I didn't even come up with that before I prepped. As we were playing, I knew there was gonna be a curse, and I knew that the woman that we had set up at the beginning of the story was gonna be the responsible one, right?
Mm.
But then when you guys walked in, I was like, it'd be so cool if like you guys find a picture of somebody else in there.
Mm.
And then like as we were playing, I'm like, yeah, there's a sister there that looks like her twin, and I came up with that on the spot.
Well, see, that's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, but like that happens on the spot, right?
Well, that's the kind of I mean, that's always you in general, though.
But like that didn't come up while I was prepping, and like the reason it doesn't come up is because my ideas don't come up unless I start talking about something.
Mm.
Like I have to, as I'm experiencing something, there's like a couple of flow ideas that start happening. Oh, what if this? Oh, what if this? Like, but not.
You would be like
I cannot sit down and try to come up with something by not talking to anybody. I have to talk about what if, and then like all of these ideas start sparking out.
you would be like a great director of a movie, because like the director of the movie would like already has the script done, already has everything set up, already has like the camera crew and everything, and all he's doing is pretty much like, I need to capture this scene from the script in my way and in the best way possible. So you as the director are essentially like, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need this, and then you shoot and you're like, this shot would work better like this. Mm-hmm. Everything is on the spot. At least, I mean, that's a way you can direct. There's other directors that completely have everything planned out beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like you would be a good like movie director, because you could problem solve on the spot really easily.
But I wouldn't be able to write the script.
Yeah, you wouldn't
like, or if I wrote it, I would have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Right. Talk and then have somebody write it as I'm talking. It's like, this is the story. This is what I want. This is what, and then as they tell me, well, we can't do this, I would like be able to like, then in this case, let's do this. But like, I wouldn't be able to sit down and write it myself. Right. Like an idea may come up, and then like as it comes up, I have to act on it. But writing it down is a long process.
You're better at like making stuff better than making something new.
Yeah.
But I think in a way that's also very creative. It's just
it's a different kind of creative.
Yeah.
Right? And in a way I'm trying to utilize that on my advantage, because that's like a new thing that I found out. Like, I know that for the past couple of years, I consider myself a pretty self-aware person as to what my strengths are. But this is a whole new thing that I found out about myself.
Yeah.
That I could be creative in this way. And I like that idea of being a creative. Because it's something that I've always kind of struggled with. I know that it's not my forte, but I kind of am discovering this new creativity in me, and like I'm so hyped and happy and like excited about it. It's like I can be creative.
Yeah.
Where I've always considered myself a not creative person, where like when I'm like, I have to set something up, it's like, I have to do tons of research, I have to look up other people that have done it, and like I would always say like, I'm not a creative person, therefore I have to look things, copy from them, and then just apply it to myself. And I'm like, well, that in itself is a creative, its own creative thing when I create it for my own thing.
Right.
But I never felt like it was my own thing. I always felt like I was taking it from elsewhere. But now I'm feeling it like, no, I can make it my own thing, and I can apply more creative stuff. So the latest ones that I kind of had an idea for, that this now, and the reason I wanted to talk about creativity is because I told you about this about 2 days ago, but I had a dream.
Oh, your dream? Oh, Jesus.
A very exciting dream.
It's a very long dream.
It's a very long dream, and there's a lot of setup, and I don't want to like talk about what it was.
Oh, yeah,
but
so you don't like spoil
but it has nothing to do with, or spoiling it, and it has nothing to do with me in the dream. The dream was like a different world and a setting and a whole thing, And then I woke up and I'm like, oh, that was cool. But I've always had this kind of dreams.
Right.
And I just move on and I'm like, oh, that was a cool dream. But now it's coming into a place that I'm like, my brain came up with that.
Yeah, your subconscious, yeah.
I wasn't actively trying to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just as I was sleeping, I came up with an idea.
You have a very active brain.
Yeah. And then I can take that idea and then start executing. So like I have this whole like enlightenment that I'm like, I could just go to sleep, dream, wake up and write my dream, and then execute during the day about the idea that I had at night. And then when I go to sleep, I can have more ideas for free.
Well, I mean, technically yes, but there's a good chance you might not get another dream or like that.
Yeah. So in the past year, there's 2 dreams that I've had that I remember very vividly. The one that I was telling you about, and there's a different one where I got really scared, which was a really scary dream. Like I was in like not as scary, but like a lot of anxiety in that dream and a lot of tension, and I'm like, what if I tell a story about this and I make a story about this dream and I illustrate the story and I like write about it,
right?
And like it becomes kind of like a manga kind of thing, like where I can just hire an illustrator and I already have the world and I have an idea,
right?
And I can just tell a story based on that. And I'm like, I never thought I would be able to do that because I never thought that I could come up with an original idea from like within in order for me to execute something like that. So therefore I never saw that possibility. But now I have 2 really good story ideas that I could actually start executing on, and I'm so excited.
You should work on those. Yeah.
So yeah. But I don't know if you have anything to say.
I don't know. I usually answer like a question, like a follow-up.
Ah, okay. So so that's the thing. So that's why and lately I've been asking you like, what would it take for me to make a manga or make an anime?
Right.
Or...
I mean, I think that you should first write it.
Yeah, that's the difficult part.
What I've learned is that because this is a problem for me that I don't have as much anymore, which is that I used to overthink things too much. I used to be like, oh, I want to write this book, and I wouldn't even touch the writing without finding out how hard would it be to publish it, what do I have to do after I finish writing it, how long should it be, how many pages, how many words. Like I was so worried about all that I would be like, fuck it, I don't even want to touch this until I figure out everything. But like in reality, you should just write it first, and then take it to the next step. It's like, what do you want to do now? It's like, maybe you should get somebody to look at it, see if it's a good story, then change it up a little bit, edit it, whatever. Then it's like, all right, what do you want to, now the writing is done, what should we do next? It's like, probably get it illustrated. And yeah, so that's how I've been doing stuff, because otherwise I go crazy.
I think I want to start doing that. I want to try to figure it out. I want to write the setting, and I have a good setting. And I have some characters that I have based on the dreams that I had.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love a character to look like in a certain way or have certain mannerisms.
Right.
But I don't have the whole thing. I just have an idea. So I think, like you say, I have to start writing down the idea.
Yeah.
And start adding things to that idea. See what it becomes. But like it's a whole new side, at least for me.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Because like I never thought that I was a creative person, at least not in that way. Yeah. The way that we've been talking about. And now I feel like I can be thanks to
your dreams.
Thanks to the dreams. I don't know.
You've always had crazy dreams. My dreams are so boring. My dreams are like me hanging out with my friends. That's it. It's like I have dreams about, like, when I was in school I had dreams about going to school. I had dreams about when I was in Starbucks. I used to have dreams about working at Starbucks. It's like the most mundane shit. And they're all in black and white.
No. Anyway, so that's the podcast, Conversations with My Little Bro, where I have conversations with my little bro. Yeah, see you next time.
Bye.